When it comes to the hip thrust, one of the things I see a lot is I will see people loading up the plates, but their glutes haven't grown any. I see people only going like 2 inches down instead of really feeling their glutes stretch on the bottom. What I even have my clients do is pause on the bottom, making sure they feel that glute stretch before they come up. So it doesn't make sense loading up all this weight and only keeping it up top because you're not putting that much load on the glutes. Good day, beautiful people. I am your host, IFBB Pro Hafid James, and we are here in you.HERE'S studio, which is another segment of our women wellness questions Q&A. And this one is, why won't my booty grow? One of the reasons why your booty won't grow, we follow fitness influencers, and all they have to do is just look the part. You got to remember, these fitness influencers, some of them are genuine and some of them do talk from a knowledge base, but some of them just need likes. They just need follows. They just need engagement, because those are sales. Even what I do, I'm trying to sell a business. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get more followers and likes, but I would just prefer to do it my way, where I try to give educational information, not always trendy and cool, but it's going to get you to where you want to be, versus just putting information out, catchy, trendy information that's going to grab your attention. And then I can then use that to sell it, knowing that what I'm putting out isn't actually beneficial for you. It's the same thing with trainers. With trainers, in my opinion, is rather twofold. They don't know the science behind how to grow your glutes, or they know they can just throw a band on you and have you do a few resistance band movements. You feel your glutes burn and you think you're actually progressing, and they can form whole programs around this. And you get that confusion with that burning feeling with actual muscle growth, and you actually think you're doing the right thing. Or another one, which is, I guess, has always been around, but all someone has to do is have good glutes already. If you see someone and they got good glutes, you automatically think, okay, well, this person must know how to get glutes, and you'll follow their program. You'll pay for their program. You'll pay for their guidance. And they have no certification, no knowledge. They just were blessed with good glutes. I can even say from my own personal experience, I did my first show as an amateur. I knew nothing. Someone else was telling me what to do. And, I looked good. I won. And I literally had someone want to follow me and do what I did. And I told them straight up, I don't know what I'm doing. Someone else is telling me what to do. This person didn't care. They still wanted to train with me, thinking, you can catch a code. Like if you're around that person long enough, you can catch some of their results. And unfortunately, it's just not how it works. So there's a lot of reasons people get scammed. A lot of it can be financial. Some of it, again, I'll give some credence. Maybe they just don't know the science. But once you understand the truth of just how certain things work, the better you're going to be in the long run. The other reason you won't let your booty grow, you keep believing in these glute building myths. And I want to go through 3 of those myths today. 1, squeezing your glutes at the top of a movement. In a squat, a lunge, or stiff legs. That's not doing anything when you're talking about building your glutes. And I see it all the time where people are squeezing the bejesus out of their glutes, thinking, this is how it was going to grow. This is how I'm going to make it grow. Now, I could sit here and talk to you about moment arms and physics and the science behind it, but I just want you to do your own test. Just stand there with nothing in your hands and squeeze your glutes. And then put 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds in your hands on your back and squeeze your glutes. If you're really honest with yourself, you're going to notice you don't feel a difference in the load in your glutes. And that's where the confusion happens. You can activate the muscle up top. It doesn't mean you're putting any load or tension in the muscle. And if you're not putting any load or tension in the muscle, you're not really working the muscle. And what I've seen happen usually, where people go in and they squeeze their glutes so hard, they start activating their back. And I've had clients tell me they got back issues because they're doing squats and deadlifts, and these can be a lot of pressure on your lower back. But now you've activated your back up top, and then you're going into a movement that can compromise your back. So all you're doing in your journey of trying to grow your glutes, you only end up hurting yourself. So don't think you got to squeeze your glutes up top. That's doing nothing at all in activating the glutes and making sure they can grow. Another one, using resistance bands. And this I see every day, where people are coming in and they're doing their clamshells, they're doing their clamshell walks. Again, doing those movements are important, but if you're trying to grow your glutes, That is not the best way. You have to think of what those muscles are working. Those muscles are working your gluteus minimus and your gluteus medius. Those are two very important muscles. They're muscles that help stabilize the knee joint, so they're very beneficial. They can help protect your lower back, but those are not the large muscles that you actually want to hit if you're trying to make it grow. A lot of confusion comes in because you get that burning feeling and you're thinking you're doing something. It's the same thing you see when people are doing crunches. They feel a burn and they think, oh, I must be getting abs because I feel that burn around that area, when you're not doing anything at all. So what I say, don't do clamshells. No, do it. They're very beneficial. But if you're doing it just because you think, okay, this is how I grow my glutes, unfortunately, you are wasting your time. And you just have to look at the gyms. Like, there's people that's in the gym every day trying to do these movements, and yet they have no progress going forward, which leads us to our third thing, training glutes every day. Like, every day I go into the gym, I will see a certain select people, and every day they're in there, they're training glutes because they think, well, more is better. So if I train it every day, it should grow quicker. Even if they're doing the right movements, I think you have to always just put that science behind it. You get your results during your recovery. So once you stimulate that growth by damaging the muscle in the gym, you need to rest the muscle for it to grow. If you are constantly hitting it, it can't grow. It's impossible. It's like if you broke your arm, but you didn't let it give it time to heal, you're not going to get those results. You're not going to have it get stronger. And you can potentially hurt yourself, or at least you're just not going to get any results. So don't think you got to do it every day. You just want to be efficient with what you're doing. Another reason people won't have their glutes grow is their exercise selection. Now, in my opinion, ineffective workouts would be the bands, as we talked about, the resistance bands you put around your knees, your ankles, kickbacks. These are glute movements that's focusing on the wrong muscle group, or they're just focusing on the muscle in the shortened position. You want to focus on the muscle in that lengthened position. So doing these movements, yes, you're going to feel the burn. You're going to feel like that burning sensation, which people think is improvement, but you're really not doing anything to hit the right muscles to make it grow. What I always like to do, the same way I'll grow any muscle, prioritize those lengthened positions, those movements that can really make you feel your glutes stretch, put it in that stretch position. I think hip thrusts are great. RDLs are great, or split squats, once they're done effectively. Those are the movements that you can really lengthen the muscle and you can really stimulate as much growth as possible. So even if you do the movements that we just talked about, if you don't do them right or effective, it really doesn't matter. The best workouts are the one that's done right. So I want to go over some of the ways people can mess up their workout by not training as efficiently as possible. When it comes to the hip thrusts, one of the things I see a lot is I will see people loading up the plates. Like, I've seen 3, 4, 5 plates on each side and they're doing their hip thrusts, but their glutes haven't grown any. One reason is because they're just focusing on that top portion, that contraction. As we stated before, you're going to get that real growth, that real stimulation of the muscle in the lengthened position. So in that bottom portion, as you hinge down, I see people only going like 2 inches down instead of really feeling their glutes stretch on the bottom. What I even have my clients do is pause on the bottom, making sure they feel that glute stretch before they come up. So it doesn't make sense loading up all this weight and only keeping it up top because you're not putting that much load on the glutes. And then another issue I would see is people don't know how to hinge. So they'll see their back arch, their neck arch. You're taking tension off your glutes and then you're putting it possibly on your lower back. Again, another way that you're just going to end up hurting yourself, and you're not going to get that engagement in your glutes, which is what you're actually trying to look for. So I always say, I think a foundation of my training for all my clients is understanding core and posture. You want to keep that neutral spine. You want to hinge and have your whole body hinge down and your whole body hinge up, all staying together, moving together, making sure you're just putting that tension where you want it on your glutes and not in your neck or not in your back. Even with the split squats or reverse lunges. Now, the main thing I see is, one, they're not going down deep enough. Again, not going into that lengthened position, or they're not hinging far back enough. So when you're trying to work your glutes or your hamstrings, what you're really trying to look for is as much distance between your knee joint and your hip joint. Now, what I see sometimes is people's knees going over their toe, which is going to cause more knee flexion. That's going to bias your quads to do more of the work instead of you forcing your glutes to do more of the work. So if you're trying to train your glutes, you are trying to hinge back and create as much distance between your knee and your hip and not thinking straight down where you could be activating the quad or you could be stretching your hip flexor on the other leg. So just understanding simple biomechanics and what you're looking for, it's just going to make your workout more efficient and give you better results. Now, progressive overload. Now with this, it's a myth in the gym. Women are scared to lift heavy because they don't want to look like a man. It's really, really hard for a woman to lift heavy and look like a man because you have estrogen and nowhere near as much testosterone as we do. So you building muscle is harder. So you should be thinking, how can I train as effectively as possible to build that muscle? A lot of the fitness influencers or, the bodybuilders you look at, the fitness models, some of them are in the gym and they're training hard and you like their physique, but you just don't want maybe a too hard physique. A lot of that just comes down to you not getting too lean for wherever you want to stay. But if you're trying to grow the glutes, you grow the glutes the same way I would try and grow my chest. I need to challenge that muscle. And as that muscle gets stronger, I need to constantly progressively overload the muscle, going a little heavier or going higher in reps or more sets to keep challenging that muscle. Now, even talking about progressive overload, I think another important thing to kind of mention is sometimes people think, well, every week I should just go up 5 pounds. If your body's not ready to go up and you're just going up for no reason, that's another way I've seen so many people hurt themselves. You have to remember your body's not just bone and muscle. It's also joints. And once you're progressively overloaded correctly, meaning you challenged it and you slowly made increments going up, it's not just your muscle that adapts. It's your bones, it's your joints, it's your ligaments that adapt to this new load as well. So if you just think you're just going to increase the weight every week because whatever weird online program you said to increase the weight every week, it's another way I've seen people hurt themselves constantly. So just be mindful. Progressive overload doesn't mean you want to keep challenging the muscle, but you got to challenge it to where you are. Even for me, if I'm doing everything I'm doing right, I'm just hoping maybe every week I can just get one better rep. And if every week I can increase the reps, knowing that my form's good, constant tension, form, posture, I know I'm doing what I should be doing. And then once I hit whatever rep range I'm going for, then I'll try and go up. But don't think you can rush the process because, again, I've seen it. You're either not going to get any results or you're just going to end up hurting yourself. Lastly, time. I know the concept is you see these things and they say, do my 30-day program, do my 2-week program, and it kind of normalizes muscle growth. Muscle growth is a long period. It's just about being consistent. Now, when you first start, you can get some good newbie gains, but even for me, if within a month I could put on 0.4, 0.5 pounds, that's a good month for me. And that's me being in the gym every day. That's me focusing on my nutrition, my sleep, and everything else. So if you don't give your body time, like if you think, oh, I should do this for 90 days and have the greatest glutes ever, then you're just going to be doomed to fail. And then you're going to stop. And then you're going to see some other weird kooky program that you're going to try. And then you're just going to try that too. So don't think you can rush this progress. Take your time, feel it out, and then see how you look in a year. See how you look in 2 years. Once you know you are constantly getting better, if every week you are constantly improving in whatever workouts you're tracking, that's what you're really looking for. And then it's only when you look back and you're like, man, look how far I've come. Look how my body's improved. It was the same thing for me. Like I didn't just wake up like this. It was years of work, years of consistency, years of learning, years of making mistakes and seeing how I can do things better. And then that's how I grew muscle. Your journey is going to be the same way. So if you're really looking to grow your glutes, certain things, just to kind of recap, don't fall for all the craziness that you see online. And I know there's a lot, and I know it's constant, and I know they make it seem like it's the easiest thing to do. But usually some of the best snake oil salesmen, they're very charming. They can make it seem like it's easy, and you just need to come on and join their program. Growing muscle is a very difficult thing to do. Give yourself grace, give yourself time, try and learn, try and find someone who's educated in the biomechanics of bodybuilding and muscle training, and have them kind of teach you so you don't have to make those mistakes. Don't be scared to lift weights. Please stop squeezing your glutes at the top of a squat, and then just see where your journey goes from there.